Hi, this is Ingrid and welcome to my Winter Bookland. Today we're going to talk about probably my favorite series of all time, and also one of my favorite Scandinavian series of all time. I've read these in Norwegian, but you'll be glad to find that these are also in English. So, you know, that's good. The series I'm talking about, of course, is the Engelfors trilogy by Mats Strandberg and Sara B. Elfgren. And these were originally Swedish, and you kind of can see that in the way that the story is written. It's a very Swedish story. But yeah, today we're going to go through a kind of spoiler-free review of these to see if they're worth reading or not. So the way I do these reviews is I start with a synopsis of the first book, so I don't spoil the entire fucking series for you. And then I go over to discuss the characters and then the writing and so the plot, and lastly the themes of the entire series. So I'll put up timestamps here so that you can go to them and maybe just watch the part that you want to hear most about. Okay, let's get started. So we are in a small town called Engelfors in Sweden, and witches exist. And these witches can control different elements. So it's water, air, fire and earth, but also metal and wood. The apocalypse is surely but slowly on its way, and the chosen one has to start up a fight against the demons who want to overtake Earth. Now, problems arise when the chosen one turns out to be 6 different people who are all in these different social groups in the little village that I live in. I swear this book is more entertaining than I make it sound, but I can't say anything more without, you know, spoiling it. I had actually thought of just putting in a few trigger warnings here, because the thing about Scandinavian literature, especially Swedish and Danish literature, is that it's a more gruesome type of writing than we are used to in English literature. So therefore I really need to lay out some trigger warnings here. The first chapter in this book has a very detailed suicide / self-harm scene, extremely detailed. So I just need you to know that. Suicide and self-harm are also referenced a lot throughout the entire series. There is extreme bullying and homophobic language from the everyday people in this book, because it's supposed to represent this kind of small town. We also have very graphic depictions of murder in the series, and one of the main characters in this book, who are all 16, is in a relationship with a guy who is no younger than 25. So he also was in a relationship with one of the other girls very much earlier. So I want to say these relationships end badly, but for someone who might be uncomfortable with that, you just got warned. One of the main characters comes very close to raping someone through using her powers and faces close to no consequences for that particular thing. So that's really all that I have. I can't remember anything more. Of course, it is classified as a YA book, I think, because of course Scandinavia doesn't fucking have YA. It's classified as a teen book, and you know how I hate about this book with kind of graphic content gets just aged down. Now that we're past the entire synopsis and trigger warnings, I'm going to go straight into the characters and discuss them. So we have our main characters: Minu, Linnea, Vanessa, Anna-Karin, Ida, Rebecca, and Elias. From the start you can kind of guess that it's a lot of characters to kind of focus on and have your attention on, but I feel like the two authors managed to do it masterfully, so you don't feel like it's a mess. It might, like in the first 50 pages, it might be a little bit confusing, but I think it works itself out pretty quickly. The positive thing about them being so many is that there's a lot of different characters. They're all from different social groups, so they have different ways of acting, and you can like see how the backstory we're given from them have shaped them as people and why they act the way they do. And I thought that was really well written, because a lot of the times you have these characters who, for example, are very rude, but you don't get any like explanation for why they're rude, so therefore their rudeness just becomes annoying. But for example, with Linnea in these books, you can kind of see why she's so rude all the time, and you can kind of get the explanation from there. Now, the thing is that the character development for each and every single character is amazing. So, like, you see why each character had to go through the arc that they had, and also how they went through the arc that they had. And one thing I think you'll be happy to find is that they face their problems with each other head on. Of course, there's an issue in the third book where they kind of don't do that, but like all other problems, it's just like they sit down and they talk about it instead of just going around and being mad about it all the time, and I found that so satisfying. So then we're going to go over to the writing. The writing, I have to admit, is a little over the top at places. I feel like that is something that is common for Scandinavian books, but the writing style, it's a YA type, it is very easy to read, and that is good in terms of length, because look at the length of this last book. And the friendships among the girls are written amazingly. I also feel like these books describe depression really well, because two of the characters throughout the series do experience some kind of depression, and you can see that these authors know what they're talking about and know how to present it good. So I thought that was really amazing. I don't really have to have anything more to say about the writing, so we're going to go over to the plot. And the plot is so good. The mysteries and the relationships are paced good, so that you don't have anything like weird stuff popping up and just like a natural like development. You actually get it properly. And in terms of the plot twists, the pacing is also done very well, because the plot twists come like portioned out throughout the books, and it creates a really good effect. As I mentioned earlier, the plot deals with heavy topics in a serious and respecting way. You have a lot of teenage drama in these books, but I feel like it's treated seriously, because a lot of the times when you see teenage drama in YA books, it's kind of treated as a haha thing, but in these books it's actually treated seriously, and you see how all this drama affects the teenagers that are involved in it. Some of the themes I feel like it's like fuck the man, revolution, and stand up to like the big man. I felt that a lot throughout this book. Standing out and not fitting in, I feel also is a big theme there. In terms of both the magic and like the small town problem, you have pushing people to their breaking point. All these characters do get pushed to the breaking point, and it is very clear in the text, and it's just done wonderfully. The last concept I want to talk about is bygdedyret. If you don't know, this kind of means either village animal or small town animal, and it's kind of used in description of like bad sides of a small town community, and you can really see examples of that in these books very clearly, because like normal people in this town don't like Linnea very much. So when something bad happens to her, you can very clearly see bygdedyret come out. I think they write as someone who is from a small town. they write a small town so very well and don't shy away from like the extremely bad sides that come out. I don't really have anything more to say about the books, but I'll just tell you that they are amazing, and I have reread them 3 times now, so you can tell that I really like these books. These are library books. I haven't bought them myself yet, but I'm going to. If you have anything more to ask about the books, or if you want to discuss it with me, you can leave a comment down below. If you liked what I had to say in this video, please leave a like, and if you liked me in general, you can maybe subscribe. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you in my next video.